Hi everyone, I'm going to demonstrate how to go from a DAE to STL file to a step file. So we're going to start with a DAE file. We're going to create that file in a Sketchup 2017. Then we're going to go to Blender, which is going to be version 4.3.1. A new version might not have the import option for DAE files. So if you don't find one, you have to go back to early version, which is at least this one worked, 4.3.1. And then we're going to use FreeCAD to go to this step file. Okay, so let's start. We're going to start with a SketchUp file. So first, this is one thing that I had. I just want to demonstrate that this one has a lot of pieces. If you export from this with multiple pieces, it's going to cause an issue. Let's just show you. I'm going to go here. This is going to be, let's name this multiple. Multiple. So let's export that multiple. And then now I'll just delete all these. We'll keep this file, press O for orbit. And this is flat on one side. Let's zoom in. And then let's measure this. So M for tape measure. No, T for tape measure. Yeah, so T for tape measure. So this measures a 1/2 inch wide. If you want to see, this is also 5/8 long and a 16th thick. So we're going to export this. Okay, so now this one we're going to do single. Export the 3D model, only gives us the DAE option. We'll do single. Export. Okay, so that's it with exporting DAE. Just need this file. That's straightforward. I'm going to start Blender. I'm going to select all this, delete. And we're going to do import DAE file. And we're going to do the multiple files. So let's see. So first you got to click on something, press the dot button by the keypad, by the number pad. And this will focus on the file that you select, on the item you selected. So we've got multiple files. So go File, Export. No, we don't want to export to DAE. Sorry. So we're going to do File, Export to STL. Documents. Okay, so we'll select multiple. Okay. So now I just want to quickly show something that with that. So I want to quickly show in this software. So we'll import them to this 3D program, the Orca. Select multiple. So we get this error. I'll come back to this error soon. So I just want to quickly show. So we'll select yes, and then I want to quickly show that when you import it over in this the STL in one file, it all comes up as one piece. So if you move around, if you select one piece, you can't really separate it. What you can do is you could try to right-click split. You could do objects. You could split it, but that time sometimes it splits too many things and you don't want it. So let's say this one, it splits it all. And see this separate things over here. I don't want it separate sometimes. Sometimes it makes this whole separate. So I just like to export a single piece and work with it like that. So let's do Shift, and then we'll go all over it, and delete. And now, okay, so that's with that. So That's why, so we'll just go with a single file. So let's delete all this. Let's start with our single file. Let's import it. So now we're going to import the DAE file, single. So we got over the single file. So let's see. This measures is 0.0127 ems. Maybe that's millimeters, I don't know. But this is supposed to be a 1/2 inch wide, which is supposed to be at 12.7 millimeters is a 1/2 inch wide. So if we just export it the way it is, export it to STL, and name this one single. Single. Okay, now we made a STL file. So for Orca, this is going to work for if you want to do 3D printing. So this works in this case, but with an error. So you see this error gives you an error saying this object is too small if you want to scale it back. So if we click, so first we'll click yes. So this comes up properly. So you see over here on the bottom, it's a 12.7 millimeter wide. So the measurements are good, and you're ready to go do your 3D printing with this file. And if you do import, if you open it over here, let's try it again. If you click no, it sometimes just shows up like tiny, or sometimes it just doesn't even show up. So you see how it brings in the same measurement as the STL file export. So in order to resolve that, we will go File Export again. We'll do STL. And now we'll change the scale to 1000. And we'll name it single 1000. Okay, let's go back to our software. Let's do an import, single 1000, and no errors. No errors, came in the right measurements, 12.7 millimeters. Now it's all good. Okay. So this is ready to go 3D printing. So again, from DAE to STL, we're gonna have to use the scale to scale 1000 export in the Blender software. That will give us the right measurement for exporting it from Blender and converting it to STL. So if you're done over here, you need to go 3D printing, you're ready to go. And that's it. But if you want to, if you want to go from STL to step file, we'll use the 1000 file, and we'll start clean over here. We're going to start with our FreeCAD software 1.02. We'll do an import. We'll import the single 1000. So now we know this is the right measurement, so we'll work with this one. And now I'll follow my document. So you're going to change this. If you have this option, this drop down, the default comes up as part design. So we'll change this to part. Make sure it's selected in part. So this is our file. So this is our STL file. But we need to make it to make it a step file, it needs to change it, whatever the case is. So we'll select the file, the item, go to part. First thing we'll do is create shape from mesh. Let's change this new shape to 0.01. That's what I was taught in the YouTube video that I saw. Maybe I'll link it in the description. Okay, so we're gonna delete this first one. We don't need that, we don't want it. And now we're gonna go to the next option, which is gonna do convert it to solid. So you select it, make sure it's selected, then do convert to solid. Now we delete this. And then you're gonna select that again. And then we're gonna do refine shape. So I had to look for this. This is refine shape is not on this drop down directly. It's under create a copy. So you go to create a copy, you have over here refine shape. So you gotta leave this one, don't delete that in this case, at least in this version of FreeCAD. And now we got our item. So I want to show you one thing with the step file export. Okay, so we'll start with, okay, first you need to select the object, then do file, export. So we're going to do an export into 1000, and we'll select this one in inches. We'll name it inch for inches. And let's just, so the default by me was inches. And I want to show you something weird with this. So we'll do this one, export an inch, and we'll do this again. So what you need to do is export it in millimeters. So we'll name this one millimeters, save it, and then it pops up, and you select millimeters, and then save it with that. Okay, so now I'll show you what the problem with the inches is. Okay, so I did it before. I'm gonna open this inch file. So you open it in Autodesk viewer, we have this inch file. So I want to take the measurements for this one. So when we export this step file from FreeCAD to inches, look at this measurement. I'm going to measure this to the end. So look, it comes up as a 12.7 inch wide, which is not what we need. This is huge. It's 10 times bigger than whatever. It's a lot bigger than we needed. This is wrong. It's a 12.7 inches. We don't need it inches. This was supposed to be a ½ inch wide. See, and the same is going to be with, let's do this over here. So this is 1.6 inches thick. So that is not correct. That's the problem with if you export in inches in CAD, it's a problem. So you have to do it is export in millimeters. And then we export in millimeters. Now let's measure this one. So this is 12.7 millimeters, which equals a ½ inch. Yeah? So this is the correct measurement. Okay, and then we have 1.6 millimeters thick, which is what we need. That's the original file. So we're going to recap. So the first thing here, when you do export, you got to export it from over here, DAE file. That's simple. Then when you import the DAE file to Blender, you have to export it and make sure you select the scale and change it to 1000 without changing any other settings over here or anything else. You got to change that to 1000. Then you get your STL file clean, and then you could just work on it in Orca and it's going to come in clean. And then to STL to step, we're going to use the FreeCAD, follow these steps, and then you got to make sure you export it into millimeters. Okay, and then you got your right measurements, and then you got your right step file. And that concludes the video of going from DAE to STL to step. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.